Now available at the Barclay Garage is a new line of Dungeon Mechanics exclusive dice towers available for order. This veteran-owned woodmaking company creates homemade wood items sourced here in New Mexico. Use the promo code MEC25 to get 25% off today, and tell them the Dungeon Mechanics sent you. Hello, welcome to the newest episode of Rise of Sagemist. You are here on the Dungeon Mechanics. I don't have a script, so we're just going to do a recap. Last episode, Kiaran and Lancel found themselves running from a possessed Professor Littlefoot. As they made their way back towards the courtyards, Lancel, in that process, made himself invisible. To which, when they arrived, they met up with Natari, and a bit of interjection. They believed that Lancel had gotten, taken by Professor Littlefoot because he wasn't there, because he was invisible and he didn't tell anybody. So then they quickly tried to close the doors, to which Lancel, dodged through, Dragonborn finesse style. Doors closed. Natari caused vine overgrowth in that area so that it would make it more difficult for Professor Littlefoot to get through. Except he walked out of shadows moments later and began to shoot crossbow bolts at the two of them. Luckily, they were able to not get hit by those. And as Lancel made his way to the infirmary, the girls ran up and Kiaran bumped into him because she didn't see him. He told them, fly, you fools! They made their way to where all the other professors was after a big thing that should have probably not been a thing of why the professors should, protect the student body. Professor Littlefoot made his way in. Lancel reactively attacked with a fireball, to which the professor took full damage. But shortly after that, and a failed attempt at hold person from Ducey, but I guess it really didn't matter because he didn't take any more steps, so technically it kind of also succeeded. I don't know. They all were mind probed, and a telepathic bond was created as this entity, whose name is still in the ethereal, began to speak to them and found a particular interest in Kiaran Telebrina for some undisclosed reason. That she ended up interjecting and saying, stuff happened and here we are. But there was an ultimatum given of, in order to get back their friends, they have to give up Kiaran at the front of the school, and she has to go by herself. So they have an hour to decide. They decided to find out more information because before Professor Littlefoot was taken over, he did get a sense of mind flayers and beholders and stuff like that. So that's what they're probably going to try and research here at the library. And as they do that and made their way towards the library, Natari was visited by some type of ghostly spirits, entity, children thingies, in the mist ethereum. I don't know. But basically they told him that they had Luth and they had Kenya and the others, and they didn't have much time, but they would try and help as much as they could. But that's where we are. What would you all like to do?
To the library.
Okay, y'all are headed to the library.
And
The wizard's favorite spot.
And everything's cleared off from the entire campus now. No more shadows, no more nothing.
Yeah, it's just in night form, essentially.
Okay.
Some of the professors do break off to go check on the students to see if, the entire student body's taken, or just the ones that y'all have noticeably seen removed. But the rest of you make it to the library, no problem.
Professor Littlefoot, while we're on our way to the library, I just wanted to ask you, how did you walk through the shadows?
I think that was an effect gifted to me by the possession. it's not something I can normally do. Although, that would be a neat trick.
Yeah, I'd like to learn how to do that.
Natari,
Yes.
the ghost children said that they saw your friends, right?
Yes.
Is that a physical location or a different dimension?
I'll look down and ask them, is it like a physical location in the school, just like another plane of existence, or do you know?
I think it's not here, from what we can tell. Once you're there, it's really hard to get back here. Like where you all are.
Okay. So are you in the ethereal plane?
I think now, yes. More so, yes. I wasn't always, no.
Okay. Is that where they are?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like they're in the ethereal plane.
That's big magic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring this here.
You had no idea. It's not on you. And then she'll just keep. We don't have much time, and she'll walk towards the library.
As you all arrive to the library, seems to be open forum as normal.
I don't remember the Alan names.
Since it's nighttime, Nylawo would be on shift, technically.
So we're looking for any information on. Did you see the black shadowy tendrils taking over the school a few minutes ago?
And she kind of like looks at you. No.
So that happened, and it's some sort of powerful entity, and it spoke to all of us in our heads psychically, and it took over Professor Littlefoot, and he had black tendrils coming out of his eyes, and it wants me, and it took Leverin and Kenya and Luth, and it said he'll give them back to us in exchange for me. But we just need to find out information about something like that.
What is this? It?
It's some powerful.
Something was mentioned about mind flayers and beholders or something.
Shadow
Yeah.
monsters.
One moment. And she kind of like walks off a bit and pages through a much larger book that's on the side table. Traces her feathered fingers over a few things and nods, and you all watch as different books begin to come off of the shelves and stack up on the tables nearby all of you. I think that will be a good start for all of you. Most of those detail about Elithid's beholders, creatures of the deep.
I'm going to go and then just kind of spread out on one of the tables. I'm gonna spread all the books out and see if any one particular like title or something registers in my head that would be related to what I've experienced.
Okay. Where are the rest of y'all doing?
Do they have a book with pictures in it?
That's a good question. We might find a picture of something that looks like what this was.
I mean, some of the books have like images of what the last perceived mind flayer of that time looked like. And it's just this grotesque, it's like a mind flayer nomming on some brain juice.
Do you have any books about the ethereal realm and how to pull people through it?
I
Or things that
believe
can do that?
the last book of that sort was checked out by Miss Natari here.
Oh no, you muted.
It was?
Yes, remember you came looking for a book in regards to more druidic natures.
Okay.
There, I believe, is a chapter in there in regards to what this gentleman is saying.
I'll look through my bag and try to find that book. I probably would have left in there.
After a bit of scurrying and nibbles coming out and like poking its head out, you do find it.
I nibbles. To grab the book and like just start looking through it for anything that might be helpful.
Okay. Do either a history or investigation check.
$15.
Okay. There is a chapter about Circle of Dreams druids.
Which is what I am. Okay.
And when you come across it, they speak about a bunch of different types of Circle of Dream druids that are out there, but one that catches your eye is the Kalashtar and their innate connection to an almost ethereal realm.
Is it the ethereal realm that they are connected to?
The ones for the
I thought it was
Kalashtar
the
is
dream realm.
Okay, yeah, Dream Realm.
I thought was different than the ethereal plane.
Let me look at that real quick. Okay. You read about the dream realm and its innate how should I say this? in between. So like you have your dream realm and your ethereal realm and your material plane,
Okay.
and they can kind of interconnect between the two.
Okay.
But from what you can gather, dependent on where the base entity is from, they can only like go like halfway. So you imagine like the children are in the dream realm right now speaking to you about the ethereal plane, and because of your connection to it, you can see them, whereas if they were in the ethereal plane trying to get to you directly, they probably wouldn't be able to without some magical assistance.
This is interesting. Okay. Would I put any of that together that like that's kind of what I am? Because I was still trying to like figure that out.
You could do a either Arcana or Nature check.
Figure nature would be better. Oh god damn it. 7?
The first shoe has fallen, but like it's not, the pieces aren't exactly connecting that way yet. You might eventually come to that analysis, but
Okay. Okay, I'll kind of relay what I'm reading in there to the rest. That like, there's a connection that I may have to Circle of Dreams, or by being part of the Circle of Dreams, as there's kind of like a middle connection between the ethereal plane and the dream plane. Not entirely sure how I can tap into this, but I can try to see if I can maybe meditate and tap into that a little. I'm not sure.
Worth a shot. While we look into elithids and such.
Okay. And being that my connection, my like telepathic connection would have been with Kenia last, I'll try to like meditate and see if I can like kind of project myself into the dream realm, and then try to talk to her through there.
okay. Roll
Telepathic.
a Arcana check.
God damn it! I'm done with D&D Beyond dice.
D&D Beyond, not currently sponsored by Dungeon Maker.
But it could be.
They would roll better.
Just gotta get a couple of nat 20s in a row and be like, yeah, D&D Beyond's not bad.
Which, I mean, in GW's case, has happened during some
I think that's like VPN work, but whatevs. We won't go into that.
Oh, God. Okay.
He did not deny when I called him out.
Right.
So,
He was going up against me, so I'm still bitter about that.
so 7.
Okay.
Can
So
I assist Natari at all? I have a psionic mind. Can I help Natari focus harder in pushing through?
you can try and roll an Arcana check as well.
Okay.
I mean, if I wasn't busy, I could be helping her too, but I'm actually busy over here.
I seem to be copying Natari's mind as I also roll a 9.
Nice.
You rolled higher.
I've got to make my own
Seven.
rules for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Natari, you're trying to focus your thoughts to the dream realm, but because you've never actually, like, I would imagine, tried to do that, it's like a harder reach for you. But with Lancel's kind of nudge, and then the children of that dream realm also kind of like feeling that as well, they help like draw you into it, almost like give you that last push where you find your surroundings and your thoughts kind of resonating in this almost misty-esque plane.
Okay.
Where
I
everyone
look
else-
around and-
You would just see like Natari's eyes closed and her mind kind of focused.
I will look around and what do I see?
Right now you see the kids, and they're all kind of like, you know, wispy, ethereal, not really there.
Okay. Do I see any like path or way that I would think that I should like traverse or look?
The one kid that held your hand earlier kind of like reaches out. It's like over there, and you see it kind of like missed a bit, and an image of silhouettes of like Levrin and Kenya and Luth are kind of like standing close to each other, and they're looking around.
I'll immediately try to go over there.
And it's almost like there's a barrier that prevents the two from like meshing, but
Inia! Just start like kind of frantically yelling for her.
Kenya. You don't seem to get a reaction from their side.
So up to this point, I would have had like a quarry spirit. So I'm assuming that I'm probably like in the dream realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would try to call out for the quarry spirit that I would have been like able to communicate with all my life, and try and see if I can get any help from them.
Okay. And are they any descript for you, or has it always just been this voice?
It's just been like when she sleeps, she doesn't like go to the dream realm like normal people do. She just like I believe it's something like that.
Eyes of that chicken. Reminds me of Young Guns. It's a spirit world.
Oh, can't directly communicate with their core spirits. They might experience a sense of instinct or inspiration. Okay, so she would have like just remembered that like there'd be moments of inspiration she would get. She'd try to like focus on that, almost calling for it to like help guide her in this moment, and see if she can get any idea of what to do in this situation.
In that effort, the images of them like going from like blurry, you're able to focus with your connection to Kenya a bit, and you see her, and she's like standing there, but her eyes are like glossed over as if she's experiencing something else in her mind at the present moment, which is probably why they're not reacting to all of you. But as you see that, you can kind of tell that like wherever they're at, they're probably experiencing like something completely different than what you all are experiencing in this moment.
Okay. And I'm going to attempt to summon my little like the spirit animal that we got for the school, and see if I can like send it through.
Okay. It appears, and it does seem to be able to breach that barrier and go through.
Okay. Try to take it over there and like try to like get close to them and try to speak through it. Can I speak through it?
Yeah.
Guys, can you hear me? Hello? Kenya, Luth, Levrin, can you guys hear me?
And in that moment, another presence is felt in that area, and from your avatar's sight, like that familiar sight, I imagine you don't see things like you normally would. It's more of a sense sort of thing, sensual sight looking predator sight. I don't know. But anyways, you notice off in the corner there is this small, like, gnome-ish sized entity, and it creeps closer to you, and you see that it has, like, the face of a mind flayer, but it's much smaller than, like, what the pictures in the books would detail. And he looks at you. Now, you wouldn't be trying to pry, would you? And I need you to make a intelligence saving throw.
God damn it. Okay. Fuck! My dice are failing me too. 9.
Okay,
Good thing I'm resistant to psychic damage.
you take 20 points. You only take 10 points of psychic damage, and then halved for whatever that is.
5.
Yeah. And that instance, like, shunts you out back into your body in the dream world, but it also punts you back to your physical body in the material plane, and you feel like this brain rush of, like, brain freeze mixed with, like, pain. Well, I guess bring.
She claps to the floor. Oh, God. Oh. Oh.
Didn't go well.
Well, I was able to see them, and I sent my avatar in, and I was able to see them clearly. They all seemed to be in their own like trance state, like they were kind of seeing something else, and then there was this like mini mind flayer looking thing that seemed to not like my presence there, and threw me back out with a bit of a head rush and a headache. Oh God.
Mini mind.
Kind of was like gnomish in stature, but looked very mind flayer-ish, like what I've seen in books.
And
Weird.
almost to point, like, you turn the page, Lancel, and it starts to speak of these entities known as Sagemorphs that is pretty much if you insert the tadpoles into gnomes and they successfully manifest into a mind flayer. If they don't, they turn into like a squidling, which is just like a melted version of that. But the script does kind of match up, you notice.
Well, I think we have our enemy here as I push the book out in front of everybody.
And Kiaran, this whole time, like, you've been going through the books, but it's not like your mind's racing on possibilities more than like information consumption, because all this stuff isn't like new to you. You already know all of it. So you're just trying to find like what the next step should be from your point of view, based on like everything you know. And then like you notice Lancel speaking about the Sagemorphs, which kind of draws your attention.
What did you say, Lancel?
Sagemorphs. They're gnomish elithids.
And
Right.
make a history check, Kiaran.
With advantage, maybe?
Sure. These are your thoughts.
That was a 2. That was a 2. That's much better. It's a 4 plus history 2, so 6.
Okay, so you've never, which is true, you've never actually come across a Sagemorph, but when he speaks about the fact that it's a gnome transformation, your mind instantly goes to like your tutor back in the day, back when you were traveling to go visit your mom. You had a tutor with you that was teaching you about magic, kind of on the undertow to not go to the academy, essentially. But anyways, Taldug Trueplane was his name, and he was a gnome. But you believed he died that day as well with everyone else.
And that's what she said out loud. Oh, that's right. He was... I had a tutor. I mean, what you're describing reminds me of a tutor I had before what happened to me. And when we were attacked, he was with us. He was traveling with me, and I don't know what happened. I just assumed he was dead after all these years.
Well, I guess if your caravan was attacked by elithids, maybe he got turned into the Sagemorph?
I think maybe he was one before. or maybe he's part of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm really. It's like I said. I was unconscious for a few weeks, and when I woke up, I didn't have like a direct recollection of what happened. I just had all these images, and these images like manifested, and then I started developing these abilities that were related to that. I don't know if that makes sense. It's I've been confused by it, but
It makes more sense now because he called you his prodigy, not progeny. A prodigy would be a skilled student,
right,
like me. You were his prodigy.
right. He was. I didn't realize the things that he was teaching me was going to lead to all of that. At the time, he was. I don't remember exactly, but I don't know how he came to be my tutor. I mean, I'm assuming that my mother found him, or he'd been selected as just a tutor for me, and maybe he was infiltrating my mother's circle. I don't know.
Does the book speak anything about the Ceramorph's weaknesses or capabilities?
All of it is more or less nondescript, but you do know that Ceramorphs can be relatively powerful, which would explain how it's able to just mind link with all of you without much difficulty.
So
but
we know
combat prowls, they probably
know
don't
who.
have a lot. It's more mind attacks and things, spells of that nature.
We think we know who. We think we know what. What do we do with that?
Well, it's starting to make sense now. What? Why would he care about me after all these years?
Well, you're tapping into a power to cast your magic. Like how my magic is fueled by the generations long bloodline of my draconic ancestors and my intense study and prodigious mind. You're tapping into something else. Maybe that's what he's trying to get to. Maybe you're like a catalyst or a battery that he wants.
You mean like in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2?
I read too much. I'm not into pop culture.
where Ego wanted his son to become, so he could be powerful. I'm just kidding. Back to the show right now. So, I mean, maybe he needs to be able to either tap into my power or my assistance to make him more powerful. I don't know. But he's already extremely powerful. I mean, he was able to envelop the entire school and completely take over Professor Littlefoot, and I'm assuming he's the one who attacked the headmistress, and there used to be I don't know. I don't know how we can expect to battle him. He's already taken over and done so much. So I don't
Maybe
even
that's
know.
helpful though. If he's already done so much, he has to be kind of drained at this point, right? I mean, the magnitude of his spells are huge. I mean,
He said that I
you
have
can't
to
do
come
that all
along.
night long.
It's true, and he
Probably
said
because he
I-
wants you by yourself so that there's not more firepower.
That's true.
What if we were able to be there without him knowing?
Well, I can tell you this. Based on my own abilities, my magic is going to be less effective against him than yours. Any of yours, actually. I think.
Natari, you hear in your mind, I think we can help.
Oh, she'll lean down and give them her attention.
Maybe you could bring your friends here for a little bit.
Oh, how would I do that?
You just gotta focus.
Okay. I'll try.
But I don't know how many you can take. Maybe... Your wisdom modifier amount? Yeah.
Okay. Would there have been anyone else that I would have seen in there as well? Like, because it was just Kenia. Are you saying bring
You'd be able to bring them to
people here
the dream
in
world,
there?
the dream realm.
Oh.
So they'd be like in the in between.
And that.
Okay.
Hmm.
So there's an option. She said I might be able to bring you guys into the dream world where we might be able to do something about it, like go on the offensive.
We would
Essentially.
we would be protected from him if we were there.
I don't know about that.
You don't think you would be protected, but you probably, Natari, from what you gathered from being there, would be guised or like concealed visibly.
Oh, so like we could go into the dream world while Kiaran's there. And
and then y'all would still be able to see Kiaran, kind of like how you saw the other side, but you would be able to bring him out if things go sour.
Gotcha. So I could bring the others with me into the dream world to keep us from his detection, and then if things go south with Kiara, and we can essentially pop out and help in the moment.
Probably the best plan that we have at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I can probably take. You said 5 others, or 5 including myself?
I would say 5 including yourself.
So I
So
can probably
4
take 4 other people with me. I think so. Maybe you two and Littlefoot, and
Not Caspin.
maybe one of the
Professor
other
Caspin's like eating a treat.
useful professors. Specify useful professors.
If we bought Professor Lone, he said that he had that wall of light. That could be really useful if
Loam, yeah.
the thing uses more of that darkness.
Is Professor Loam and Professor Littlefoot with us in the library?
Yeah, they weren't the ones that split off to check on the student body.
Okay. Would you professors like to join us?
Jobs.
Sure. Yes, that sounds
Okay.
fine.
Then I say we get to just outside of, was it the like outer courtyard that we were supposed to, or that Kieran was supposed to
Yeah,
go?
like the main doors that lead out of the
Okay.
academy.
I say we get there and then go into the dream world there, and Kieran can walk in.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, as the clock draws closer, you all start to make your way towards the front of where you enter in the academy, and there's the big doors. No darkness or anything from what you can tell.
Okay. Is everybody ready?
He is going to be.
Okay. She'll have them all like gather around and to try to focus and see if she can bring them all into the dream realm.
Okay.
You
Intelligence.
can do this,
saves.
Natari. I believe in you.
You say saves, like all
Do
of us
they-
need to make it?
Yeah.
Do they need to make intelligence saves if they're allowing it to happen? Or do I need to make it too?
Yeah.
I think something else might be happening.
You gotta make sure nothing goes wrong.
Oh. Why did I roll in there again? What am I doing?
16.
Okay.
And
Okay. And who else did you bring?
fuck you, D&D Beyond.
Lone, Littlefoot, and Doozy.
Oh no, there's no. That's an 11. And that's a 13. And what was Deucey's intelligence save?
10.
10. Okay. So collectively, you all pass, I guess. And you all are shunted into that realm. Kiara, and you watch as they just like kind of vanish into a wisp, and the top of the hour strikes, and it's now.
As we go in, I'm gonna like create a telepathic link with Kiaran just
Okay.
to kind of listen in and be able to.
Okay.
Now it's midnight, and that's where we're gonna end it.
Oh.
This is way more fun. I get to put y'all on cliffhanger after cliffhanger.
At least
Bring
we don't
it.
have to really. We don't have to wait for the cliffhanger.
But everybody else does, and they're like, ah. But yes, catch us again. Hopefully in 2 weeks, we will try and wrap this up into a nice little dumpster fire bow and send it off. But yeah, we will
Awesome.
be back.
Damn it.
Take care.